Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are LA.
Last night, just minutes after the Ducks had finished off the Blackhawks in overtime to take a 3-2 lead in their Western Conference Championship, across the 57 freeway, Albert Pujols stepped to the plate. 1-0 pitch. Broken bat, single to left. Drive home safely as the Angels walk off on the Padres. 4-3 the final. Certainly not a bad way to start off the long homestand with that walk-off victory last night against the San Diego Padres. And tonight here from the Big A, it is Game 2 of the 3-game set. Hi, everybody, from inside the Big A. We welcome you back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and leading up to that game-winning hit for Albert Pujols, there were a couple of very good plate appearances, and more specifically, it was Johnny Giavotella, who had been struggling in the month of May, that kind of kept that inning alive.
Yeah, Victor, he looked comfortable to play finally last night. Take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind with the outfield playing no doubles defense, man on first base, Johnny Giavotella. Johnny, the entertainer, base hit up the middle, able to get that base hit through the middle, and first and third that set up that big hit by Albert Pujols because he stayed back on the baseball, thought middle part of the field, and another very productive swing late in the game for Johnny Giavotella, hitting 480 in those spots. Late in the game, very clutch, Johnny Giavotella.
And, of course, Greg Kimbrell, the closer, intentionally walked trout that led to the Pujols base hit, and it was a walk-off win. And tonight we've got a couple of right-handers on the mound, and very similar styles of pitching, although Odritis Despagne, a guy that has a very good fastball, has been relying a lot on the off-speed pitch.
And he's been hit very hard by right-handed bats. 5 home runs, batting average over 300 against a right-handed batter's arc because he's thrown too many off-speed pitches. He does throw pretty hard, 93, 94. Matt Shoemaker, I think you're going to see an adjustment made with him. He's going to try to get that fastball down. He has struggled with fastballs up in the strike zone. Very good season last year, 16-game winner. I look for him to get back to that spot where he's working down and in with his fastball.
Long ball has been an issue for Matt. Let's see if he can keep the ball in the yard, and the Angels make it 2 in a row. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. From Jack in the Box today. CarMax. Start the search for your next car at CarMax. CarMax, start here. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new legendary Buttery Jack from Jack in the Box today. We welcome you back out here to Angel Stadium. Shot of Game 2 of this 3-game set. Interleague action against the San Diego Padres. Halos just now taking the field. And we will take a look at Bud Black's starting lineup for the San Diego Padres. Very similar lineup than as we saw last night. Just a couple of differences. And we'll tell you about those right now. Now, Harry Solarte will lead things off. He is the first baseman for Buddy. Will Venable is in center field. Justin Upton in left. Matt Camp was a DH last night. He's in right tonight. Derek Norris behind the plate. Corey Spangenberg is the second baseman. Will Middlebrooks at third. Jet Jerko came in as a pinch hitter last night, late in the game. Will be the DH tonight. And it's Alexi Amarista, the former Angel, batting ninth and playing shortstop. Taking on Matt Shoemaker. We just talked about him a little bit. 3-4 on the season, a 6.29 ERA. And while it hasn't been like a huge blow-up games for him, it's been that long ball that continues to haunt him.
Yeah, that ERA over 6 because of some mistakes made. And point out what the difference is from this year as compared to last year as far as fastball location. This season, fastball high in the strike zone, 33%. Low, same thing at 33%. But last year, the high fastball was 29%, 35% of his strikes down in the strike zone. Those elevated fastballs have been the ones that have been hit out of the ballpark against Shu. And Shu said he made an adjustment having a bullpen session at Fenway Park just the other day at the end of the road trip.
Second look at the defense for the Angels behind Matt Shoemaker. You've got Matt Joyce in left field, Mike Trout at center, Cole Calhoun at right. The infield has David Freese, Eric Ibar, Johnny Giavatelli, and Albert Pujols from third to first, and Chris Iannetta behind the plate.
And it's so important for Chris Iannetta to be able to set that low target throughout this game for Shoemaker to make him work downstairs. Only elevate it when you just want to change eye level. He's allowed 19 stolen bases so far this year, and San Diego runs a lot, 32 stolen bases for San Diego. Going to be important for Shoemaker to give Iannetta a chance to throw out any base runners trying to steal second.
Well, the combo of Weaver and Perez kept that in check. As a matter of fact, they picked off Justin Upton in last night's game. We'll see how that plays out here this evening. The Angels with the win. Now a game over 500 at 23-22. And at the start of the day, 5.5 back in the American League West. The Houston Astros lost last night. And they continue to play good baseball.
And they picked up a win today.
Yeah, playing against the Orioles at Camden Yards. Solarte, first baseman, will take a fastball outside. 283 with a couple of home runs, 23 runs batted in. Solarte last night had a 2-for-4 game, including an RBI double in the 7th inning. That's the inning in which the Padres tied things up at 3. That'll leave in the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Nice, pleasant evening for baseball here. 67 degrees at first pitch. This is lifted out to center. Trout puts it away for the first out.
Good off-speed pitch there from Shoemaker. Again, it was down in the strike zone. That's what he has to live at. He's got very good movement when he's down with his fastball. His split-finger fastball is much better because of the same plane with the fastball at the knees. Then the bottom drops out on his split.
Well, Venable, the center fielder, steps in with 1 out, nobody on, and takes outside. Venable had a big 2 RBI single. That was with 2 strikes against Jose Alvarez. It tied the game up at 3. Joe Smith picked up the win in relief. 2 solid innings of relief for Joe. A couple of strikeouts and 1 hit allowed. Weaver, unfortunately, for his effort, a no decision. Gave up a run in 6 2/3.
And like we suspected last night when Mike Scioscia went out to have that conversation with him in the 7th inning. And, you know, Weaver had been dealing with a little bit of an illness going into the game yesterday. It wasn't quite as strong. Decided at that point it was better for the bullpen to come in, even though he threw the ball exceptionally well and has so in his last 4 starts. Had trust in the bullpen, just fell apart for Jose Alvarez yesterday.
Fastball missing upstairs, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last two starts for Shoemaker out on the road against Baltimore and Toronto. Gave up 8 runs, 7 earned against the Blue Jays in his 6 innings last time out. Off the plate, full count. That's the one game that has gotten away from him. 13 home runs allowed on the season.
And this is a spot on a 3-2 count when he's real comfortable. He'll throw a split finger fastball to get a swing and miss with it.
Goes back to the fastball. And I think we've seen, and we've talked about it a number of times this year with Matt on the mound, more fastballs, at least in appearance to us, than what we saw last year. He relied a lot on the off-speed stuff last year.
Yeah, and it made his fastball that much better because 91, 92, after seeing a lot of all-speed pitches, really looks firm through the strike zone.
Back up the middle, off the shoe. Shoe picks it up and throws it wildly. Venable might try to go to third, and he is going to try. The throw from Calhoun is not in time. That's an infield hit and an error on Matt Shoemaker. The Padres have a runner at third with 1 out.
Right off the bottom of the shoe. Matt Shoemaker quick on that throw. That's a very difficult play for a first base. When you throw sidearm, that ball's going to run right into the base runner going down the line. And not only are you not going to be able to catch it, you're not going to be able to keep that in front of you, and it's going to go down the line like it did.
Matt will get a couple of pitches here. Make sure the foot's all right.
As he follows through on this pitch. He's turning his foot around to try to avoid contact. Looks like it got like the ankle and the bottom of the foot. And as you're trying to track that, find that as a pitcher, you just got to hope and hear some communication from your catcher, Chris Iannetta, exactly kind of where the area you have to try to find the baseball.
Albert plays in, and as you were talking about the throw to first base, obviously for Albert, that's always a sensitive issue going back to the wrist injury he suffered with the Cardinals. Justin Upton takes down and in. 1 ball, no strikes on the left fielder. 289 with 12 home runs and 35 runs batted in.
And especially when you throw the ball sidearm, it's going to have that tailing action running right into the runner going down the line. There's nothing Albert can do on that one.
Did Cliff Floyd have there's something that happened to him at first base?
I've seen a number of first basemen over the year. When you have that type of play where the runner's going right as the ball's running towards them and you're reaching out trying to catch it and you leave your arm exposed to a collision with a body going down that fast, it's a difficult play. And Albert broke his wrist on that time when he was with the Cardinals on a play similar to that one. That's
downstairs. 3 balls and no strikes.
And you got to be careful now if you're Matt Shoemaker. Upton will be swinging for sure 3-0. If he has a fastball in his spot, he's going to be swinging. So if this is out of the zone, you can still think in terms you get through it with a walk and then a double play ball with Kempa on deck.
That's on the corner, 3-1. Yeah, it was a collision for Cliff Floyd at first baseman. Todd Hundley of the Mets. (3-1) pitch. Good off speed. And that's the pitch that was very devastating to opposing hitters last year.
And the reason why is because the pitch before was right at the knees, and this one starts again at the knees, and then the bottom drops out. You're going to get a hitter to swing at that if you establish a fastball in that same plane at the knees.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Upton. 2 down.
Boy, he stayed on top of that split finger fastball so well. That one, the last two, 86, and then that one at 87. Split. Great action on there. Well out in front for Upton, unable to make contact.
Big strikeout considering he'd fallen behind. And 3 balls and no strikes for 2 outs. Venable over at third base. And here's Matt Kemp, the right fielder. Kemp hitting .251 as he takes outside. 0 for 4 game last night with a couple of punch outs. Padres last night 2 for 7 with men in scoring position. Kemp skies one to center. Playable for Trout. So the error by Shoemaker does not come back to haunt. They strand a man at third. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Ibar, Trout, and Pujols coming up for the Halos. Throwing error put a man at third base, so we are scoreless as we start at the bottom of the first inning. Here's Mike Scioscia starting lineup for the Halos, as we mentioned at 23 and 22. Ibar, Trout, and Pujols in the top third of the order. Calhoun, Freese, and Joyce in the middle third. Iannetta, Krause, and Giavotella. Of course, Chris doing the catching, Krause serving as the DH. You're taking on the 28-year-old right-hander native of Havana, Cuba, Odrisamer Despagne.
Wow, said well. Despagne fastball. 87-92 slider, cut fastball, curveball, changeup. But sit on off speed. There's a lot of off speed pitches and right hand power. .310 batting average by right-handers against it with 5 home runs. Can you say that again for me?
No, that's just, it's a one and done.
One and done?
Sorry, English language broadcast, and I want to make sure that
thank you.
We keep it that way. Ibar swinging first pitch, chops one over to Solarte, and the out is recorded. Now Ibar wants to make sure he didn't hit Despagne at first base. 1 pitch and 1 out to start this first inning.
Hit well, played well by Solarte, and the flip just bobbled it enough. Despagne trying to catch the corner. That was a close play. Thought he might have spiked him. Stepping on the base, making sure he's okay.
Don't see that too often. A pitcher transferring the ball to the bare hand as he's heading over to touch the base. Maybe that's how they did it in Cuba.
Yeah, could be.
It's a possibility. Trout looks at a strike. Despagne pitching in his 10th game, 6th start. This is Mike Trout, hitting .299 with 11 home runs and 25 runs batted in.
And he does have a good fastball. That one you saw with that running action at 92. It gets caught up in a lot of off-speed pitches, change-ups, curveballs, sliders.
A ball and 2 strikes now. He's coming off a loss, which he gave him 2 runs on 6 hits and 6 innings against the Cubs.
Well, he's 1-1 on the road so far with an ERA 7.50.
Off speed, pulled foul. There's that changeup. And it's 1-2. Espana, after leaving Cuba, held some showcases for major league teams. The Padres signed him in May. And had 16 minor league starts, and all of a sudden he was in the big leagues. Had 16 starts for the Padres last year. Fastball just off the plate.
He will throw a bunch of different pitches at different angles. Slow and deliberate at times with his delivery. Does a quick pitch with his delivery also. Just tries to throw the timing off of the hitter.
Been compared at times to El Duque Hernandez. Downstairs. Full count.
When the danger's with that pitch like that, you throw that drop down fastball. If it runs out over the middle of the plate, that's why right-handed batters have such success against him. That's going to go right to the meat of the bat.
There's a 3-2. And Trout strikes out swinging. And right after with a fastball. 2 down.
Let's take a look at my Monday key for this game for the Angels to be successful. Tinashe going all hands on deck. It's the time now, especially the bottom part of the order had success last night, looking for that whole continuity of the entire offense. 1 through 9, putting together some good swings and use the middle of the field and score some runs.
Halos had 12 hits last night. Albert had the big one. The walk-off in the 9th.
It's amazing how much bat he had left after that swing, too. Just the handle of the bat. And still hit that ball hard enough to get it through the infield. That's how strong Albert is.
2 balls and no strikes.
17th walk-off hit for Pujols, trailing over only David Ortiz in that category amongst active players.
.228 batting average for Albert. 8 home runs, 17 RBIs. 3 infielders on the left side, and that one catches the zone. 2 balls and a strike. There's the shift. Ted Barrett, by the way, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes tonight. Chris Conroy at first, Angel Hernandez at second, and Scott Berry at third. 2 outs, nobody on. Scoreless here in the first. That's a jam shot single to right. Ran that fastball in on the hands, and with the shift, it's an easy single for Albert.
So far in this game, Espana is throwing a lot more fastballs than the norm. And Albert, just enough to get his hands inside the baseball to hit that one to the right side of the infield for a base hit. Now he might go back to his normal routine as far as throwing a lot more off speed if he continue to get some hits on his fastball.
Cole will step up now. Man on and 1 out. Modified shift with Cole at the plate. Amarista playing up the middle. Middlebrooks at the cut of the grass, but kind of halfway between short and third. Cole 1 for 3 last night with a single and a walk. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned last year 16 starts for Despaigne. 4 and 7 in a 3.36 ERA in those starts. Low cost, high reward type of signing for the Padres. This year, numbers tell a different story. At least the start that he's been off to. Off speed away. It's 2-1.
Done a great job against lefties. A big reason is because of his changeup. It's barely over 200, 211 batting average. With no home runs, left-handed batters against him.
This is hit toward the middle. That's a base hit. Spangenberg playing to pull. That baseball sneaks into the outfield for a knock. Pujols sends up at third. The Angels have runners at the corners here. 2 outs with 3 coming up.
Stay back on that baseball well. He's elevated enough. Fastball, stay with it, drives that by the infield and into that right center field, allowing Albert Pujols to go first to third.
These opportunities for the Angels to do something in the first inning have been few and far between, especially in the month of May. So a chance here in the first to strike. David hitting .218, 8 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Slow breaking ball outside. Freeze last night 0 for 4. Couple of strikeouts. Angels last night 4 for 12 with men in scoring position. Pujols at third, Calhoun at first. Downstairs.
Clearly against Spania, you got to think middle of the field, and so far 2 successful swings have been that by Pujols and Calhoun, and Freeze, that plays into his swing.
Three 3-0 now. Joyce on deck. First 2 outings for Despaigne this year. Probably the first one was out of the pen. Then he had made 2 starts. He had 3 outings out of the bullpen. And now making his 4th consecutive start. Three 1. Pretty live fastball too. Some movement on it. Three, shoots one, and Solarte gloves it. Otherwise, it's down in the corner, and a couple of runs come in.
Well, you can't hit a baseball any harder if you're David Freese. You did exactly what you wanted to do, but Solarte, an excellent play.
Coming up to face Matt Shoemaker, and oh my, it's Dick Enberg, Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch before the game today. Been around a long time, and he's done a number of things in his broadcasting career, including
great guy.
The Angels broadcasts. Now, television voice of the San Diego Padres, sitting next door to us.
To talk to him tomorrow on the pregame show.
Yeah.
You know, just before he went down to throw out his first pitch, he asked me if he could borrow my labrum because his arm is hurting him. I said, no, you do not want my arm anymore. Because, yeah, good point.
Norris lifts one out toward left. Not very deep. Ibar calls off Joyce. One down. Dick Enberg, a one-time assistant professor at Cal State Northridge and the assistant baseball coach there.
Matadors. I had a conversation when my daughter just graduated there. They had class. Look at those boots.
There's Mark Grant. So they show off the boots on Fox Sports San Diego.
Nice look.
If you can pull it off.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
You could do that.
No chance. Mr. Enberg certainly can.
Oh, well, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he was
HOF.
If you did not know, it was got the call in December. He's the winner of the Ford C. Frick Award for baseball broadcasting. He will be inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown this summer.
I was telling about my daughter graduating this year at Cal State Northridge. The whole weekend, 10,600 students graduating. He said back in his day when he was there, about 5,000 students total at Cal State Northridge.
He's now in all three major sports Hall of Fames: football, basketball, and now baseball.
Amazing career. Great guy, too.
Go ahead and tap out at that point, right?
Yeah, as good as it gets.
I'm going to call that a career. I'm good. Shoemaker gets the strikeout of Spangenberg. 2 down.
That Jack Nicholson movie, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
That's it. Speaking of as good as it gets, a nice two-seam fastball running, getting that inside corner for Shoemaker.
Two outs, nobody on. Will Middlebrooks at the plate. Third baseman. Looks at a strike. Middlebrooks last night a couple of hits, going 2 for 4. 226 on the year. 4 doubles, a triple, 5 home runs.
Still, even though it's a ball, it's a good miss for Shoemaker. First pitch was upper part of the strike zone. That one just off the lower part of the strike zone away.
Good breaking ball.
It gives you a chance to get a swing like that. If you throw a fastball, even though it's a ball, it's close enough where the hitter thinks, okay, is he going right back to that same plane? Then he throws a slider there and gets a swing at it.
You see Matt almost trying to force that downhill plane on the fastball. Make sure he does not make a mistake upstairs.
Yeah, you're exactly right on that, Victor. Always, the thing you try to do to make sure you get the fastball down is you have to stay on top of the baseball. I know it sounds easy, but you got to stay up and then have that hand work down where the fingers are letting the baseball get out of the fingers and work down instead of dropping your wrist. And that elevates a fastball when you do that.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Middlebrooks. A couple of strikeouts for Shoemaker. We will head to the bottom of the second with no score.
2nd. And coming up later in the game, we'll check out the big news from around the majors on the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. 7th heaven time for the Rangers, maybe tonight. And Mad Bum on the mound again tonight for the Giants.
Matt Shoemaker with 3 strikeouts and 1 hit allowed. Joyce, Inet, and Krause for the Angels here to face Despagne. Matt Joyce last night 2 for 4 with a double, a single, and a run batted in. 176 batting average with a home run and 12 runs batted in now. Matt hit a breaking ball that was going down and in and just got him on the right leg area, it seemed like. Neville is going to come out and check him out.
Going to try to run it off down the line. It's either a slider or a cut fastball on the outside part of the knee. You got pretty good sound all the way up here. Initially, I thought maybe got him in the hamstring, that kind of side of the knee. I was worried about that getting stiff as the game moves on. Black and blue mark.
It's all about getting that on-base percentage up.
Oh, yeah.
One way or another.
We could say that from up here.
Absolutely. Where to wear it, Matt. Lead off man on
Take
board.
one for the team, right?
It's so easy to say, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
With headsets on. Inet getting to start behind the plate tonight. And he will take one downstairs. Hitting 169 with a couple of home runs and 9 runs batted in. This last played on Sunday against Boston, went 0 for 2 with a walk.
One thing we saw yesterday's game, Mike Scioscia had this team very active. Now you wonder how well Matt Joyce is going to be able to run, and just in case he puts a hit and run on now with Chris Iannetta.
One ball, 1 strike. Maybe the slow jog to first was just to lull the Padres to sleep.
Ricky Henderson used to do that one pretty good, believe me.
How did that work? It's Ricky Henderson, the self-proclaimed greatest of all time.
And he was.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's one way to slow him down. Hit him in the leg. He's kind of cruising down, and he's not going to go. First pitch, yeah, he's at second and then third before you can breathe.
Two balls and 2 strikes now. Chopper toward third. Middlebrooks lays back on it. They throw to second for 1. The relay back in time. Boy, what a throw by Spangenberg, the second baseman. I thought for sure that'd just be a lead runner out the way Middlebrooks played that ball, but man, he fired that ball to first.
What a great transfer, Spangenberg. That's a tough play because Middlebrooks played back on it. A good feed for him, but quickly got rid of the baseball and firm and gets him.
Yeah.
Talking about an outstanding transfer. Quickly get it out of that glove and a strong, firm throw to get Iannetta.
It's like
I
a
didn't think he had a
shortstop's
chance.
arm. Yeah, the minute Middlebrooks laid back on that ball, I thought, all right, well, they'll get 1. But a quick turn, it's a double play, and it'll bring up Krause with nobody on. 2 outs.
It's a real slow curveball there. It's 68.
Yeah. Krause last night, a couple of hits, 2 for 3, a double and a single. Drew a walk as well. It was his walk and subsequent pinch runner Colin Cowgill that scored the winning run in the 9th. It's up the count at 1-1. 156 average for Krause, a home run and 5 runs batted in. Angels did make a move after the game yesterday. They optioned out C.J. Cron, and before the game today, they called up Grant Green. AAA Salt Lake. 1-2 now. Grant is here in uniform. He'll bounce around, kind of The back end of the roster guy that could help at second base and short. The outfield as well.
The outfield played some first base. We saw a lot of that in spring training too.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Krause lofts one out to shallow left. It's Middlebrooks going out there, and he'll make the catch. And the Angels are done here in the second. Well, to the third with no score. Roger Lodge and his Halo Hawks are hanging out tonight on Roger Lodge night.
I got to see him. I was out there earlier today.
Artie Moreno is out there, and the Angels owner was being interviewed by Roger. Now Artie just taking pictures, signing autographs. That's going on as we speak.
I'm trying to get back to my seat. I'm already done.
A lot of people down there earlier. Excited.
Jerko looks at his strike. There's Terry Smith, and that is Bobby Grich filling in for the ill Mark Langston. We hope Langer's feeling better.
There it is. Halo Honk for life.
One hopper to short. One down. Langer was scuffling on the flight back.
We know Langer will be back quickly, though.
Yeah. We thought he'd bounce back already. But it happens.
Yeah, Terry was a little under weather himself.
Yeah,
Terry
DC,
Smith.
Darren Chan, the producer engineer for the radio broadcast.
Does a fantastic job, even in spring training, doing a lot for us, too.
Kind of a petri dish there in that radio booth at Fenway Park.
Oh, yeah. A lot of room in there for them, especially when one's ill.
Yeah, one guy's sick. That's perfect in that booth.
Yeah. Good ventilation in there.
Alexi Amarisa with a 2-ball, no-strike count. 9th place hitter, hitting .194, home run and 9 RBIs. Alexi a 1-for-2 game last night. .35 pitches thrown by Shoemaker, 21 strikes. Behind in the count of 3-1. Top of the order, and got Hervis Solarte on deck. Full count.
Shoemaker's never faced the Padres before, but is 2-2 with a very good ERA, 2.25 in interleague play.
It's a fourth full count for Shoemaker. 3-2. Fouled off the left.
Yeah, Venable and Upton both 3-2 counts in the first inning. Got Upton to swing at that split finger fastball out of the strike zone, at that big punch out with Venable at third base and 1 out.
Little flare out to shallow right center field. Trout and Calhoun. It's Trout making the call to catch. True down.
Boy, if you notice for the outfielders for the Angels, they play pretty deep, but they do have that good closing speed. They prefer coming in on the baseball as compared to going back on the baseball. We know that Calhoun could fly through the air and make plays in front of him. Same thing with Trout. Great closing speed.
Solarte, a fly ball to center to lead off the ball game. And we'll look at the strike. Fifth game in the leadoff spot for Bud Black. See the splits this year for him from the left and the right side, but he did the damage last night in the seventh inning from the right side of the plate. This one right to Albert. He'll take it himself, and Shoemaker with a 1-2-3 third. That is 8 in a row. Retired by Shoemaker. 9-1-2 coming up for the Halos with no score. And folks, on Thursday, June the 18th, an American tradition continues and comes to Fox and Fox Sports 1 for the first time. It's the 115th U.S. Open Championship, live from Chambers Bay Golf Course. See the greatest golfers in the world try to stamp their names in the history books. Coverage begins June 18th on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
I can't wait for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. The U.S. Open is always the most challenging of the big four in golf.
Pretty good four right there. Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, Tiger Woods, and Jordan Spieth. Just to name a few.
Yeah, they could cover the golf ball just a little bit.
Giamatella, Ibar, and Trout for the Halos here in the third. Johnny hitting .259 with a home run and 15 runs batted in. A couple of hits last night. 2 for 4. Also picked up a stolen base, his first of the season. Two balls, one strike.
Still kind of tired because in between innings they had named that tune here for the players, and they were playing the best song ever.
What is the best song ever, Gooby?
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven. By whom?
Led Zeppelin.
And what did your boy from Philadelphia guess on the big board? That would be Mike Trout. And what was his guess?
He said the greatest song ever.
But no, what was the band that he mentioned?
I misremembered.
The Beatles. Well, he's young. Asia. He's got the Eagles on the mind right now.
Yeah, he was thinking fly, Eagles fly.
Yeah.
That's what he was thinking of.
Something like that.
Yeah. I might have to talk to him tomorrow. Help him out.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner. There's the first down. Second strikeout for Despaigne.
Now it's time for our T-Mobile game changer. Eric Ibar has been swinging the bat very well of late since May 8th. 359 batting average, which is third best in the American League. He's hit safely 15 the last 16. And Angel fans, get out there and start voting. He's not even among the top 5 shortstops in All-Star balloting. He came out today, not even the top 5. Hard to believe.
Eric Ibar takes outside.
All-Star last year.
One ball, one strike on Ibar. Grounded out his first time up. I mean this with absolute no disrespect whatsoever to Lorenzo Cain and the Kansas City Royals, but how Mike Trout is number 2 in the outfield.
That's amazing.
Somewhat embarrassing.
They have 5 starters right now in the, as far as the top vote getters for the Kansas City Royals at this point. It's early.
Salvador Perez leading, catcher. Pulled foul.
But Trout, the reigning MVP, best player in the game.
There's the top 5 among outfielders. National League vote will come out tomorrow. The first vote totals. Granted, it's just the first one out. But, this one back up the middle. Spangenberg dives, can't come up with it. It's a 1-out single. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't really been fully aware of the fact that the voting had started. I knew it was, but since we don't deal with it on a daily basis.
Eric did a nice job. We just talked about how well he's been hitting of late. Another base hit for him, staying back, continues to hit the ball well against National League pitching. Now you have a guy with speed, and the one thing that the Angels will do with Derek Norris behind the plate, they will challenge him. Eric with 2 stolen bases, been caught twice. Well, now we're making it official to get out there and start voting for Mike Trout. Make it official right now.
There's the Millville, New Jersey native and huge Philadelphia sports fan, Mike Trout, who loves the Beatles apparently. 0 for 1 tonight. That's just killing you, isn't it? Your reaction was priceless. 1 ball, 1 strike. Trout a strikeout victim in the first.
He's still learning.
Yeah. Thought you had taken him under your proverbial wing there, Eagles guy.
There always is tomorrow.
Acrobatic catch by Solarte.
Trying to keep a tag on Ibar. A number of these throws over the first base are coming from the bench. They know that Mike Scioscia is going to try to be aggressive here against this combination pitcher-catcher here as far as trying to steal.
Lifted down the line and tailing toward the seats and out of play. 1-2. Trout drives one out to center. That had some sound to it. Venable near the wall. Reaches up and he got it. What a play by Will Venable. Ibar had turned second, headed to third, hustles back, and is able to avoid the double play. But a heck of a play by Venable in center.
Boy, a standing ovation from his teammates in the dugout. He read that one so well. I thought that ball definitely was going to get out of the ballpark for Trout. Dead center field. Crushed it, and Venable had to go a long way. Right in that corner, jumps up, an outstanding play. Robin Trout of his 12th home run of the season. Espana was very happy with that play by Venable in center field.
The thief himself gets robbed.
Wow. Yeah, Trouty's so used to doing that play. What a play by Will Venable.
That one gets away from Norris. Ibar will advance. Makes that play so difficult for Venable. That ball was driven out. It wasn't one of those towering shots that you have time to get underneath it. That's all in one motion.
That's straight over his head, and he has to run back and then leap well over the wall. An outstanding play. And threw a rocket into first base.
Yeah. Ibar had turned second. It was a couple of feet around second base. Had to retag the base. Now in scoring position. Albert at the plate. He's 1 for 1 with a single. Got the lower part of the strike zone.
Hills that Max, a former Angel.
Handles Atamana scoring position in the first. Stranded there as Freeze lined out to Solarte. Otherwise, we'd be talking about a 2-0 Angels lead in the first inning, but Solarte made a heck of a play on a rocket.
That had unbelievable sound off the bat also.
One-two. This one's pulled toward third. Middlebrooks has it. Across the diamond, and the Angels are done here in the third. Fantastic defensive play by Will Venable, keeping the Angels off the board.
When Reed jumps back and makes an outstanding, the timing there to make an unbelievable play by Venable.
Coming up for the Padres here, Venable, Upton, and Kemp.
And you figured he would lead off this inning.
Had a base hit his first time up. Was stranded at third. And that was the ball went off the Shoemaker's shoe. ended up at third base on the error by Matt. 26th error committed by the Angels this year. Hannibal takes a big rip, fouls it back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Venable, a terrific athlete, and that was obviously on display there on that catch. But baseball and basketball player at Princeton.
Yeah, Bud Black was telling me that he's been the one guy that's been around for quite a while. He knows him very well. A great kid. Put him anywhere in the outfield and play every one of those positions so well.
32 years of age now. This one lined to second. Giovitella has it, 1 down.
And now it's time for Tools of the Trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks, with Justin Upton coming to the plate. We're going to show you exactly how Weaver was able to get him out last night. That's how you're going to be able to try to get him out. He has that uppercut swing, the high target set. You see the lens where the ball was coming through his normal swing. The path for his swing was an uppercut swing, trying to get the ball around belt high. Went with a fastball above the belt. Great location to get a swing and miss from a very hot hitter in Justin Upton.
And in the first inning, it was the splitter that got Upton for the punch out. Breaking ball, lifted foul and out of play.
Yeah, you can see how he likes to get his arms extended. That target was set so perfectly last night by Carlos Perez and executed well by Weaver.
Upton hitting .318 in May. 6 home runs and 21 runs batted in.
Trying to go back upstairs with the fastball. Now, if that fastball is down a little bit lower, that becomes his zone where he can crush it.
Chopper down the line. Freeze had to go off his glove and into foul territory. Upton will stop at first. Infield base hit for Upton.
Right down the line. Off the glove, it gets up quickly to make sure he prevents Upton from getting a double. You know, you keep the double play in order.
That silly slide that infielders go into. You're almost better off trying to play the short hop standing up so that you have an opportunity to throw out a speedy Upton.
Yeah, when you go down to that knee to be able to backhand, you're not going to throw it up, and he runs very well. 9 stolen bases this year has not been caught, so he's certainly a stolen base threat now.
What it does too, it fools official scores into believing it's a tougher play than it actually is, and that's why you see a lot more infield hits granted on plays that, you know, you at home and even us here in the booth that seem somewhat routine. Not that that was routine, it was sharply hit, but the minute you go into a slide, really tough to get back up and throw a bullet for a strike, especially with a guy with speed. This one pulled to left, to base hit. Kemp, his first hit of the series. The Padres have 2 on with 1 out here, the 4th.
And his pitch was elevated. Didn't get quite exactly where he wanted to, and Kemp got his hands inside the baseball and hits a line drive. Has Ibar short in the left field for a base hit.
What if the mindset with Shoemaker, for the Padres anyway, against Shoemaker, is that early on it seems to have the off-speed stuff working, right? Especially the splitter. So maybe now the second time around, be a little bit more aggressive early in the count.
And he's shown so far in this game, Shoemaker has, he's throwing a lot of first pitch fastballs, so they're looking first pitch fastball. Now that's okay as long as you locate the fastball, especially down and away where you can get a ground ball double play, but elevated becomes hittable.
Breaking ball missing low.
Well, that was a good pitch though. Again, crossing the plate. Good little slider.
Norris 0 for 1 with a pop-up.
Now Shoemaker got a barrier look back to second.
Bouncer foul. 2 pitches ago, the first one to Derek Norris. This is what we were talking about, where they caught the bottom part of the zone. It's a breaking ball.
See, this is crossing the plate. Now, if the catcher gets the ball there, it's not where the ball, when it gets to the catcher, it's where it crosses the front of the plate, and that's a strike.
And really, with Chris anticipating a ball in the dirt, even though it was not in the dirt, going down to a knee. No chance for an umpire to call it a strike.
Yeah, it gives the illusion that the pitch is not in the strike zone.
1-1 downstairs. Snap throw to first base. Low throw. Nice job by Albert to just keep it in front of him. Otherwise, we're talking about a potential run there with Upton at second. Two-one count.
Upton's starting to get a little bit bigger lead at second. You wonder if some point Shoemaker may try to pick him off with Giovitello being close to the base anyhow in this alignment. Another good off-speed pitch from Shoemaker.
Two now. Downstairs, full count. Spangenberg on deck. Second baseman. Upton at second, Kemp at first. Scoreless here in the fourth.
Wonder if they're going here on a 3-2 count.
Runners don't go. 3-2 down the line, foul. Out in front of it. Sounded like he broke his bat. Went back to the dugout, toward the dugout for some new lumber.
Looked like a split finger fastball.
Norris last year as a member of the Athletics. 10 home runs at 270 for Oakland. 55 runs batted in. Traded in the offseason to San Diego in exchange for Seth Smith. Three-two. That is yanked down to left field line, and it hooks foul.
Well, that split stayed right out over the plate. Well, if there's ever a time right now for Shoemaker, that's when you try to paint that fastball down and away. Say that often, still it's the best pitch in baseball. A located fastball in the outside corner at the knees.
Misspoke. I'm sorry, Gooby. Misspoke that the Seth Smith trade was for Brandon Maurer, nor as part of a bigger deal with Oakland. Another payoff pitch, and he draws the walk. Missed outside with a fastball, they're loaded up.
He tried to get that fastball away, but it was just off the corner. He missed by a lot, just off the corner.
So Spangenberg will come to the play with the bases loaded and one out.
Much better hitter on the road this season.
Struck out looking in the second. And a 1-for-4 game last night. Angels looking for that double play ball. And that is pulled foul. Very aggressive early in the count. Former first-round pick for the Padres. 2011, 10th overall selection. Oh, 1 off the plate. Ball with a strike. Upton standing at third. Kemp at second. Norris at first.
And so it's just wondering where those pitches are, but they have been just off the corner. Spangenberg has rolled into 2 double plays. Shoemaker can use one now.
Could not lay off the off-speed stuff from Weaver last night. Maybe you throw him another one here. See if he'll chase it.
And trust Chris Iannetta to keep that one in front of him if he bounces it.
Spangenberg with a season high 3 hits on Sunday against the Dodgers. Here's the 1-2. Pretty close to being a strike. 2-2.
Again, crossing the bottom part of the strike zone. This pitch is crossing. It's getting the lower part of the strike zone by quite a bit.
Middlebrooks on deck. 1 out. 2-2 now. Check swing foul. But Black is
going to want to check and see if that ball hit his hand. See if he actually swung or not. Almost like it hit the butt of the bat. It certainly didn't swing. Now, if you swing the bat across the plate, your hand is part of the bat.
No argument from Black. Got the explanation from Ted Barron.
Dave Roberts, his bench coach. A very good major league career himself.
One huge stolen base.
Oh, yes.
Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. 2 down.
I like that pitch selection, too, from Shoemaker, because you have a guy that pitched before, up and in on him. You go back on the inside part of the plate. He's trying to protect so he doesn't get hit again. He's trying to get the bat through the zone quicker. Down and in slider for a swing and miss. It's a gutsy pitch. That might even have been a split finger fastball.
So still work to be done here with Middlebrooks. Middlebrooks a strikeout victim in the second. Hold 1.
Pretty solid numbers for Middlebrooks, but the base is loaded. Over 400.
Trying to overthrow that fastball.
24 pitches thrown so far in this inning. The one thing, the problem with that fastball that's up like that, is you end up being quicker in your mechanics, is that very next pitch is tough to get back to that normal arm slot. You really have to force yourself to make sure you stay downstairs the very next pitch.
That's pulled to third. Knocked down by Freese. He'll race to the bag. They force out Kemp, and the Padres will leave him loaded. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Still scoreless.
What a play by Freese, able to knock this rocket one-hopper down and recover the step on the base to get through inning with no damage.
No scores. We start the bottom of the fourth inning. Calhoun, Freese, and Joyce coming up for the Angels. Hey, folks, the Halos will host the Padres one more time tomorrow night at 7:05. And fans in attendance will receive a military rally monkey courtesy of Jack in the Box. While supplies last, purchase tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com.
Looking forward to that one tomorrow night. Yeah. Great job by Shu getting through that inning, trying to build some confidence.
Cole 1 for 1 with a base hit. Padres, by the way, now 6 for 34 with the bases loaded this year. Two balls and no strikes.
Well, they call it the hot corner of third base. David Freese knocks that ball down. 101 mile-an-hour hit speed off the bat on that backhand to be able to knock it down and step on the base. Quick reaction from Freese.
2-1. And to your point, that fastball that was up prior to the pitch, a breaking ball tough to get down.
Yeah, and look how quick he had to react just to knock it down. Exactly, because it forces your wrist to be in a different angle because you elevated the pitch before. That was right down the heart of the plate and elevated. Middlebrooks hit it hard, but Freese picked him up.
3 balls and 1 strike now. Espana with 2 strikeouts, 3 hits allowed. One upstairs, that fastball. Cole expanding the zone a little bit. There's a 3-2. Cole, this one in the air toward left. Upton toward the foul line, tracks it down for the first out.
Oakland has that good close speed himself. Made a couple good plays already in the series in left field.
Freese will step to the plate. Slow breaking ball. David 0 for 1. Lined out. A rocket to Solarte in the first inning. Count leave it up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Espana from Havana, Cuba. Pitched 7+ seasons for the Industriales.
Wow.
The industrialists, if you will. The Yankees of Cuba. Wear the pinstripe uniforms and everything. Interesting, last year when he signed and got to the big leagues, mentioned he pitched in 16 games. Yonder Alonso, although grew up here in the States, born in Cuba as well. And they were born just really not that far apart in Havana, but their dads played together for that same team. Yonder's dad was a pitcher. Despaine's dad was his catcher.
Wow.
Small world.
Great players coming from Cuba, no question.
Freese gets into one to left. Upton was playing deep, and in front of the wall will make the catch. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Angels.
Boy, David Freese has hit the ball hard twice tonight. Nothing to show for it. A rocket to first. Solarte made an outstanding play on it, and that went to the wall and left for David Freese.
Matt Joyce, no official at bat tonight, was hit by a pitch. Breaking ball in the second inning. Off speed pitch for a strike. Yonder Alonso, by the way, on the DL through his right shoulder, as is Will Myers.
And Bud Black expects Will Myers back in about 7 to 10 days.
There's Yonder.
That's the thing. You can make a lot of moves during the offseason, but it's a matter of guys playing well together and staying healthy.
Swing and a miss. Joyce goes down, and the Angels are down in order for the first time tonight. 4 in the book, still scoreless here at the Big A.
With an EPA estimate of 31 miles per gallon. Visit Jeep.com for more information. By AT&T Uverse, more live channels on the go than cable. And by Subaru. Test drive the all-new 2015 Subaru Forester or go to Subaru.com to learn more.
Top of the 5th inning here at Angel Stadium. Scoreless. 8-9-1 coming up for the Pods. Jerko, Amarista, and Solarte to face Matt Shoemaker, who has 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 3 hits allowed. Got himself in some trouble in the 4th inning, loading the bases with 1 out, but did not give up a run. Jerko, the DH, swinging first pitch, skies 1 to right. A rainmaker of a fly ball. 1 down.
Boy, Shu will take that, a quick 1-pitch out.
Especially after throwing 25 pitches last inning.
Stressful 25.
Here's Alexi Amarista, the shortstop. 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center.
Reese is one of those players who can play a number of positions well defensively for you.
This one lined to center. He's going to hang up for Trout. It does.
Speaking of good defense, Trout tracks it down.
Folks, next month the FIFA Women's World Cup begins as Alex Morgan leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their 3rd World Cup title. The place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is right here on Fox at Fox Sports 1, beginning June 6th.
That's another one to mark down.
That busy month in June for Fox. Up in Vancouver, right? Canada's hosting the World Cup. Would be a bad assignment. Vancouver for several weeks.
Time of the year, perfect.
This one pulled to second.
1, 2, 3 inning for Shu.
There it is. We will head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom 3rd of the order coming up for the Angels, still with no score. The 1, 2, 3, top of the inning. Hey, folks, the Halos will host the Tigers on Thursday at 7:05, and fans in attendance will receive an Oakley Scratcher and the chance to win great prize packs and discounts at the Oakley store. Purchase your tickets online or at the ballpark. Chris Iannetta, Mark Krause, Johnny Giavotella to face Despaigne.
That curveball at 77 from Despaigne.
Iannetta double play ball in the second, so he's 0 for 1. Down the line. Long run over for Kemp, but this one headed to the seats. Nice catch down there. Padres fan. Oh, the old swinging Friar. Love that logo.
That's one of the classic ones.
One ball, 2 strikes. Three strikeouts and 3 hits allowed for Despaigne. About to throw his 70th pitch of the night. That is line to right. Kemp moves back, is there. 1 away.
Despaigne came in throwing 35 in the 3rd innings pitch. He gave up 5 home runs, more of a pitch to contact guy to 16 punch outs, 11 walks. He's around the strike zone, changes speed well, but he's been hit hard with mistakes with his off-speed pitch. He's really thrown his fastball well early in this game.
Do you ever wear high tops?
No.
No? Would you have if they were around?
I had a pair just to cool breeze it in the dugout, but no.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like cool breezing it.
Yep.
0-1 count on Krause. That was a rage for what, like 50 games one year?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone had them. Krause, it's jammed, and it's a fly ball to Kemp.
Always had to wear my cleats, though, on the bench, even when I wasn't pitching.
You did?
Yeah.
So look at the Honda upcoming schedule. One more against the Padres tomorrow night, then the Tigers in town for 4. And then a 3-game set against the Rays. So a nice little homestand for the Angels. Why'd you have to wear?
Well, Bruce Keeson was our pitching coach. He always said, just in case something happened on the field where bench cleared, you didn't want to be the one running out with tennis shoes. You had to have cleats on.
What? Are you planning on stomping on somebody?
Sometimes things happen.
Curb stomp?
I'm still nervous about that.
That's Philly style.
Yeah. I tell all my kids, even with the Shaman, I'd always wear, when you're not pitching, make sure you have those cleats on. You just never know.
Never know.
Just make sure you always have that grip on the grass and the dirt. There it is.
1 ball, 1 strike. Johnny Giavitello struck out looking in the 3rd. That's funny.
You're still trying to get a little Seth Rollins on me, aren't you? That little
curb stomp. Foul at the plate. That slow breaking ball. And now Despaigne really has opened up the old bag of tricks after showing that fastball early on and showing the Angels that he's got good life on it, good movement on it.
It's tough to stay back. You're still dealing with 91 to 93 with his fastball. Then his curveball 77, sometimes 68. Will cut his fastball. His slider's been okay. Changeup. I've watched him pitch a number of games, especially at home in San Diego. Pitched very well over his career at home. See the differential. Slowest pitch, 65-mile-an-hour curveball. Best fastball, 93. It's a 28-mile-an-hour differential between those pitches, and he's done that throughout the game.
Retired 7 straight. Giavitello fouls this one off. You know, we talked about early on, too, about the numbers, the splits against Despaigne, where right-handers have hit .310, lefties just .211 against him this year. Halos with a total of 3 hits, 2 by left-handed batters, and 1 by Albert. Baseball, figure it out. Full count.
That's why a lot of times when baseball's all about numbers, and some, especially in this day and age, you look for stats and shifts and all those things. But if the pitcher doesn't hit his spots, it doesn't matter where you put the defense or what the numbers say against certain pitchers, lefty, righty, combination. It's all about location of the pitch by the pitcher on the mound.
Giavitello lines with a left, 2-out single.
See that? And he drops his elbow, and then he ran that fastball down, but it ran on the inner half of the plate, which runs into the swing for Giavotella. And this was by design. I think it was supposed to be try to drop down and throw that ball towards the outer part of the plate, but then it runs in, and he gets his hands inside the baseball well on a line drive over Amarista at shortstop. Good swing from Giavotella. This is the time where you have to try to push the envelope and try to maybe steal a base.
Oh, there's no doubt. With 2 outs and the leadoff man on, worst case scenario, Ibar leads off the 6th. Eric 1 for 2 tonight. Ground out to Solarte at first and a base hit in the 3rd inning. Off speed, pulled the string on him. No runs, 3 hits, 4 left on for San Diego. No runs, 4 hits, an error, and 3 left on for the Halos. A bunt, it's bunted foul.
I don't mind that play right there from Ibar. You're trying to set up a situation where you could bring Mike Trout to the plate, who nearly hit a 2-run home run his last at bat. So a lot of times you don't want to try to do that with 2 outs, but getting that opportunity for Trout to come to the plate, it's a good decision. And Eric's not a power guy, so it's more difficult for him to drive in Giavotella from first, just to get on base for Trout and give him an opportunity to drive both of them in.
Lefty up for the Padres. 0-2. A swing and a miss. Down goes Ibar. The Angels are done here in the 5th. We'll head to the 6th inning still with no score. To save you money. Log on to MercuryInsurance.com today to get a fast, free quote and see how much you could save. And by Hyundai, the Memorial Day sales event is going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. Top of the 6th inning, no score. Venable, Upton, and Kemp coming up for the Padres to face Matt Shoemaker. And a pretty good performance so far for Matt Shoemaker. Got out of that base-loaded situation a couple of innings ago, and the breaking ball, the splitter, has been really good.
He's been real good when he gets on top of the splitter, when he gets his wrist turned a little bit. That's that cut action on it. He wants to stay on top. He's got a good couple of swing and misses with that very effective split finger fastball tonight.
So he's got the middle part of that order coming up here in the 6th inning. Venable 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning, and then lined out to Giavatello in the fourth. Also one fantastic defensive play, robbing Mike Trout of a 2-run blast. That was in the third.
Well, to be able to track that one down and leap, and timing was perfect.
Three and one.
Trying to throw that curveball just to throw it over for a strike, but below the strike zone now on a fastball count.
On the corner.
Now you have options. You go right back with the fastball, same area, or you can throw a split. Sixth full count for Shoemaker in this game.
Got him swinging. Down goes Venable. One down.
That's that nasty split. He's done a good job. We talked about that just a second ago, staying on top of that pitch. You have that downward action, run away from a lefty. Great rotation to the seams from that split finger fastball, set up by that fastball away the pitch before. Swing and miss, big first out.
Upton swings first pitch. Skies went out toward right center. Trout squeezes it. 2 down. Shoemaker threw 6 pitches in the 5th inning. Thrown 7 so far here in the 6th. Matt Kemp, who singled his last time up, so he's 1 for 2. And 2011 runner-up, the MVP, that was to Ryan Braun. Some thought that Kemp should have won it outright. This one's pulled to third. And even more so when Braun had to sit out some time. A 1-2-3 inning for Matt Shoemaker. We're still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the 6th. When we come back, we'll find out who the Angels like in the Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals in tonight's edition of Gooby Tuesdays.
Or Blackhawks?
I'm going with the Ducks for sure. I got to meet a couple of them the other night, and that was pretty cool. Came to the field, got to watch my first Ducks game in a suite the other night, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm pulling for them for sure.
Oh, Ducks! Gotta go with the Ducks. All right, sounds good.
It's gonna be a good matchup. It's gonna be a good match.
6 or 7 games.
Ooh.
6.
Western Conference Finals, Ducks, Blackhawks. Who do you got?
Oh, the Ducks. The Ducks, man. You know, they're a physical team. They're obviously playing well this year. The Blackhawks are going to be tough, but, you know, I think they got it.
That is Game 6 tomorrow night. Be sure to watch the Ducks Live post-game coverage on Prime Ticket after that Game 6.
I'll tell you, this has been one of the best series I've ever seen. It's been phenomenal. Two of the best teams in all of hockey going at it. A lot of games have not been decided in regulation. But like what Joe Smith said, could be the prophet. Saying 6 games.
Trout looks at a strike. He'll be followed by Pujols and then Calhoun here in the 6th inning. Mike 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a deep fly ball to center field. Destined for a home run, but Venable had other plans. 1 ball, 1 strike. 84 pitches now for Despaigne. Padres still with action in their bullpen. Garce is still up. Now they've got a righty, I should say, getting ready. Dale Thayer.
It's always been one of their strong suits, the bullpen, although for a while this year struggled. Always one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. Get back to the Hyundai key for this scheme to be successful. All hands on deck. Looking for some continuity in the lineup. Tell you what, Despaigne has done a nice job so far, mixing and matching his fastball and off speed. But Trout just missed a 2-run home run. His last at bat, looking to square one up now.
Avoids getting hit by that pitch.
Another change up.
Ball guy was tracking him. Full count. Despaigne has not walked a man tonight. Now the 3-2. Ground ball towards short. Amarista gets rid of it quickly. 1 out.
No way. Tomorrow night, Victor, we're going to have a little Gooby Tuesday Encore edition on Wednesday. Have some fun with Mike Scioscia and Bud Black. That's all I'm going to give out.
That's it?
Yep. Have a lot of fun with that one tomorrow night. Mike Scioscia.
That's like a network tease right there.
Oh, yeah. See how similar they are or different.
It's kind of like Monday Night Football on Thursday.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Gooby Tuesday, Wednesday edition.
Why not?
Can we call it anything else?
It's still Gooby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Special edition.
Was that a sponsorship thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've already signed a sponsor. Oh, what count?
As long as I don't have to sing the song, I'm all right.
Albert shoots one out to the alley in left center field. That will get down for a hit. Venable cuts it off. A single for Pujols puts a man on for the Angels here. Albert with a 2-for-3 night.
Yeah, base at the right center field. That ground ball through the hole the right side, and then that one the left center field for Pujols.
Cole 1 for 2 with a single and a fly ball to left. Looked pretty comfortable at the plate tonight against Despaigne in his first 2 plate appearances. Pulled foul. Pulled to second. Spangenberg fires down Amarista for 1. They're not going to get the double play, but they do get the lead runner for round number 2.
Padres have played some solid defense in these first 2 games.
I think Cole thought that was the 3rd out.
Now just go ahead and steal the base. He's setting him up.
He's gonna play it off as such. Yes. Alfredo's look was priceless. Like, what are you doing? Cole wanted to go back old school. No helmets.
Take his chances.
Gloves off. Here's the helmet. 3rd out. All right. What?
What are you doing? Just stretching.
Alfredo wanted to smile. That was smooth.
He is Alfredo.
Yes, he is. 0-1 count on Freeze. 0 for 2. A line out and a fly ball to left.
Told him he was the T-Mobile game changer the other day, winning Rookie of the Year. One of only 2 for Toronto. He just smiled. He goes, "Yeah, I was."
It's on his business card.
Yes. Boy, Freeze has squared up 2 baseballs in this game. Both caught. Line drive to first, deep fly to left.
Halos manages 5 hits tonight against Espana. Scoreless. We're in the 6th. 1-2. Calhoun takes off. The throw is inside. The throw sails into center. Cole will head to 3rd. I'm trying to figure out how that ball didn't hit Freeze.
I thought for sure it hit him.
Yep. The stolen base and an error on Norris. For Norris, his 2nd error of the season.
And it looked like he was almost trying to make sure that ball hit him, but it didn't. Now it gets an opportunity, especially with the runner in scoring position, to give the Angels the lead here. 3rd stolen base of the season for now, Cole Calhoun.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And Freeze strikes out on a fastball, and the Angels leave another in scoring position. 6 complete, still no score.
Junior Sports Update. 7th heaven for the Rangers. They did come back and win their 7th in a row for the Texas Rangers, and Mad Bum rushes the Brewers, dealing once again the reigning MVP of the World Series. Madison Bumgarner has been on a roll. A slinger from that part of the strike zone, hitting his spots once again. A couple punch outs. He has won 5 of his last 6 games. Now 6-2 on the season. In 5 of his last 6, ERA 2.04 for Bumgarner. Oh, by the way, he's got 5 home runs in the last 2 seasons. It's a little helpy out there, Victor.
Not bad. 7th inning, Norris, Spangenberg, and Middlebrooks for San Diego. Pretty good pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Shoemaker at 82 pitches now, 50 strikes. Derek Norris 0 for 1. A pop up and a walk. The only base on balls issued by Shoe. That was another good pitch.
Both of those pitches lower part of the strike zone.
Chris took the last one out of the zone. Breaking ball toward the hole. Ibar knocks it down. Infield base hit for Norris. Fans, the Angels host the Tigers on Friday at 7:05, and fans in attendance will receive a Matt Shoemaker bobblehead courtesy of Thermador while supplies last. Get your tickets today at the ballpark or online. Base hit by Norris, snapping a streak of 8 straight retired by Shoemaker. Since the walk to Norris had loaded him up in the 4th. Corey Spangenberg, the second baseman, 0 for 2. A couple of punch outs.
Mark is going to be asked to bunt here late in the game, playing National League type of baseball.
It's a bunt and run. High Nedham throws on the first. Norris took off. They're still going to call that a sacrifice.
And he's going. Looked like he was trying to drag that down the first baseline. I did a nice job getting quickly out of that catching position, firing him out at first.
Fernando Salas getting ready. Man in scoring position for Will Middlebrooks. Cute foul. Padres third baseman is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fielder's choice.
Good fastball, great location from Shoemaker.
Ahead of the count of no balls and 2 strikes. Derek Norris in scoring position. Padres so far tonight 0 for 4 with men in scoring position. Halos are 0 for 3. Lifted in the air, shallow center field. Ibar goes out there, gives way to Trout. 2 outs. So it's the DH, Jed Jerko, coming up.
Mindset for Matt Shoemaker at this point. This could be your last batter of the game. Try to get through this, get that fine up, put yourself in position to pick up a W. The offense can score some runs. In the bottom of the 7th, 88 pitches thrown, 55 strikes tonight for Shoemaker.
Jerko's 0 for 2. Ground ball to short and a fly ball to right. He has swung early in the count on both occasions. Norris now with 2 outs can take a bigger lead at second base. Downstairs. Padres with 4 hits, the Angels with 5. May have seen the last of Despagne. Brandon Maurer getting ready. Orange Lutheran product pitched last night. Like 1 inning and struck out 2. Evens up the count. There's Maurer. There's Maurer, who was traded from the Mariners.
He's really adapted well to that bullpen role. Velocity on his fastball has really picked up in that role.
Two balls and 1 strike. Halos in the bottom of the 7th have Joyside and Krause coming up. Spaniard's done a heck of a job. 5 strikeouts, no walks. As has Shoemaker. Swing and a foul at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another off-speed pitch. Houston won tonight. Mentioned that Texas won again, their 7th consecutive victory. At the start of the day, the Angels just 1 game ahead of Texas. And 5.5 back of the Stros.
I'll be ready right now if you're Cole Calhoun and right. Maybe take a step or 2 in with 2 strikes. Take away that flare of the right field.
2-2. Full count.
It's a pretty tough take. That didn't miss by a lot. Good split finger fastball.
Amariz has had a couple of good hacks against Shoemaker, so you're right, could be his last batter. Salas ready to go. 3-2, got him swinging. Down goes Jerko. As do the Padres. 7th inning stretch time here at the Big A. Still no score. considering how things played out in Baltimore and more specifically in Toronto. Limiting the Padres to no runs, striking out 6, 1 walk. For the Padres, Despaigne is done, and it's Brandon Maurer on in relief. Mentioned he pitched last night, and he had himself a 1-2-3 inning. He'll face Joyce, Idett, and Krause here in the 7th.
He's throwing the ball very well out of the bullpen. Fastball velocity has really picked up out of the bullpen for Maurer. Rush that up there, 92, 96, even up to 98 on a 4-seam fastball. It was a cutter and changeup.
Matt Joyce, 0 for 1, hit by a pitch and a strikeout. Maurer last night threw 9 pitches.
It's a pretty good changeup. That 4-seam fastball, we will ride up top part of the strike zone now with a 97. Seeing a lot more aggressive in this role coming out of the bullpen.
In the air to left. Upton comes in. 1 away. So here's Chris Iannetta. 0 for 2 tonight with a double play ball to second, a fly ball to right to 5th. So Shoemaker's night will come to an end after 7 innings. They just start to get action in their bullpen now. Despaigne, by the way, the starter for the Padres, 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. No walks, no runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. You mentioned the velocity for Maurer, more comfortable out of the bullpen. Sometimes you take that out of the equation, meaning a starter, as that breaking ball misses low, that has got terrific stuff but can't put it all together. Less thinking, just go out there, air it out, just throw strikes.
Yeah, we saw that in Toronto with Liam Hendricks.
Yeah,
Hendricks, I should say, he was blowing some gas out there, 96, 98.
Iannetta goes down looking for the second out.
He was a starter with the Minnesota Twins. Wasn't as consistent as he wants to be. Comes out of the bullpen for Toronto. Just no saving anything in the tank there. Just rear back and let it go. Seeing that from Maurer here again.
Fernando Salas and Joe Smith getting ready for the Angels. As Mark Krause comes up. That's just an organizational decision that after a while you realize, look, as talented as one individual may be and whatever they possess and when they got drafted and how they were developed, sometimes it just doesn't play out at the major league level. And the comfort zone isn't there for them. So you pull the trigger, you make the change and say, all right, if that's going to help us win games, to have a lockdown 8th or 9th inning guy, in this case a 7th, 8th inning guy.
That's the evolution of the game right now. Bullpen arms so important. Starters, a lot of times you see starters just go 2-3 times through the lineup, and then you go to these power arms out of the bullpen. That's why it's so hard as a hitter now. Everyone talks about runs being down. It's difficult for a hitter. You only get to see a starter 2-3 times a night before somebody comes in out of the bullpen and throws way harder than the starter. And different angles and a number of arms coming out of the bullpen.
Krause 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a fly ball to right. 2-2. Pardon me, 3-2. Giavattel on deck. Crowd strikes out swinging. The Angels go down in order. 7 complete, still scoreless.
For Padres and the Angels, Patrick O'Neill perhaps will have something exciting at the end of this one to talk about in our Angels Live postgame show. Jose Mota will join me. Alex Curry will join us as well. Now, I noticed last night, after Albert Pujols hit that walk-off home run, in the interview with Alex, there was no body armor Gatorade shower, if you will. And I talked to Albert about this, and I said, Albert, would you agree it's because you're Albert Pujols that they're not going to throw any Gatorade on you? And he said, yeah, you got that right, man. By the way, 18 walk-off hits, right, for Albert. All-time, Victor and Gooby. Frank Robinson, former Angel for a brief spell, 26 career walk-offs.
Not a bad number.
Not at all.
That's pretty solid.
I think Frank had a pretty good career.
You think?
Yeah. They're in and out. Who's in, who's out. Matt Shoemaker done after 7 innings. Fernando Salas takes over on the mound here.
MVP of both legs. That's pretty good.
Yeah. 20th game for Salas. 0-1 record of 4.08 ERA. Through 8 pitches last night. They'll face Amarista, Solarte, and Venable. First one in for a strike. Shoemaker tonight, 7 innings, 4 hits, 5 Ks, and 1 walk.
It's a great job. What an effort by Matt Shoemaker.
Amarista 0 for 2. With the 2 out to Trout. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count now. Took something off. Now with a tough month of April, 10 games at an ERA of over 5. Pitched better in May. As he delivers the ball. This is his 10th game this month. ERA of 2.45.
He's a much better velocity and command of his fastball, setting up his very good changeup. Slider's been pretty solid also.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Amarista. 1 away.
Yeah, that's that velo on the fastball. 91-mile-an-hour fastball from Fernando. That baseball well, then spots it well at 91.
Top of the order now, and Yangervis Solarte, the first baseman. 0 for 3. Pulls this one to second. 2 down. Venable, the center fielder, has had a 1 for 3 game. He singled back in the first. 4 hits for San Diego, 5 for the Angels. Neither team able to get it going, although both have had opportunities with men in scoring position. Both in the first inning. Venable ended up at third base on the throwing error by Shoemaker with 1 out. Upton struck out, and then Kemp hit a fly ball to center. Solarte kept the Angels from scoring in the first, snagging that rocket off the bat of David Freese for the third out.
He hit that ball so hard. That's going down the corner. He's running for quite a while.
There's 1-1. This was lined towards short and beyond the reach of Ibarn. And it's a 2-out single for Venable. Second hit of the ball game, and gives Upton an opportunity to bat here.
It's a good piece of hitting to stay with the pitch. Was away and hit it well the other way.
Upton a 1 for 3 game with a single. The dirt gets away from Iannetta. Venable advances to second. Wild pitch.
Pitch in the dirt. It's off spins with the slider spin. But a pitch usually Iannetta will be able to keep in front of him. Now this conversation is going to be, just don't give Upton anything good to hit. Don't throw any strikes near that middle part of the plate. Bounce it if you have to. See if you could be over aggressive and chase your pitch out of the strike zone.
Kemp on deck. Folks, you can follow the Angels all season long with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet today. 1 ball, no strikes on Upton. See what the Angels decide to do here. Venable in scoring position with 2 outs here in the 8th. Upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Go ahead and walk him now.
Yeah. That was that conversation. Don't give him anything to hit. Always believe, well, that's what I try to do every batter. Don't try to give him anything good to hit.
It's a dangerous game you play doing that, I think.
I know, because you kind of guide your breaking ball through the zone, or you try to spot your fastball and you make a mistake.
If you had no real intention, just go ahead and walk him. Take your chances with Kemp. That's what's going to happen here with 2 outs, 2 on. Kemp 1 for 3, singled in the 4th. Ibar shading Kemp toward the hole. Giavatello a little bit toward the middle, and Pujols off the line at first. First one's inside, off-speed pitch. Salas retiring the first two batters here in the 8th inning before giving up the single to Venable. Now the intentional walk up to in the air foul. Another off-speed pitch that was up too. 1 ball and strike.
Yeah, Kemp has good power, although he hasn't hit the home run ball this year. But gap power to both left center and right center, especially when he gets his arms extended. That was a product of being late on a fastball after the changeup the pitch before.
Season ago, Kemp with 25 home runs and 89 runs batted in. Venable at second, Upton at first. Here's the 1-2. Got him looking on the outside corner with a fastball. Down goes Kemp. And we will head to the bottom of the 8th. Giavatello, Ibar, and Trout coming up for the Angels with no score.
By Chevron, some power arms. Andrew Cashner just 1-7, but a great ERA 2.89 against Garrett Richards, 4-2 with a 2.98 power fastballs, 97, both of them on their heaters.
Let's go back to the top of the inning with Matt Kemp at the plate on that called strike 3.
And that running back action on the 2-seamer, it looked like it was off the plate. Back gains for Kemp being rung up by a pitch off the corner. Wasn't real happy about that one. Ted Barrett rings him up.
Kemp was rung up in the 4th inning of a crucial plate appearance in the last night's game. Gets rung up here. So no score, bottom of the 8th. Giavatello, Ibar, Trout to face Joaquin Benoit.
You have the great changeup, fastball still good, 92, 96, and slider. That was that nasty slider.
Johnny, his mind made up. He was going to hack first pitch. He's 1 for 2 today with a single and a punch out.
This is usually his time of the game. Think about that in the opening, how well he has hit in these close games late. About 480.
Brandon Bauer went 1 inning and struck out 2. 0-2. Houston Street loosening. Off speed. This is down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Givatello tired of waiting. And Benoit can make you wait sometimes.
He's not quite like Wade Miley the other day in Boston.
No. Miley would have already thrown like 6 pitches. Here's the 1-2. Givatello did not make up his mind. Goes down swinging for the first out. Eric Ibar, a 1-for-3 game. Missed inside with a changeup. Downstairs. Mike Trout on deck. That's off the plate.
Trying to get on base. Trout.
Figure he's taking here, and he does. 4 out of the zone, and Ibar is on board. First walk of the game issued by a Padres pitcher.
Has that conversation in the dugout. And you have pretty good speed at first base. You hope he's distracted enough where he makes a mistake to Trout.
Trout last night did not face Benoit as Benoit pitched in the 8th. Mike instead saw Mauer. Against Joaquin Benoit, Trout 2 for 4 in his career. One of the hits a triple. Big lead for Ibar at first. First one is a strike. Ibar had been 0 for 7 in his career against Benoit. First time he's reached base against the right-hander. No balls, 2 strikes.
Sharp slider after the pitch before, almost the same exact spot, just a little further off the plate. Orioles allowed 1 stolen base, 2 attempts this season.
Like last night, the infield playing deep for San Diego. Bloop single, and you've got runners at the corners. Now I think with 2 strikes, don't you take a shot?
Anticipate something in the dirt.
I mean, with Ibar, of course, at first base, yeah. Fastball in.
Usually when you see a pitcher throw a fastball in like that, that's the setup pitch to go something off speed down and away. Whether he goes his changeup or his slider. Good size lead there for Ibar.
Off speed in the air to left. Upton comes in. 2 down. Got him on a changeup. And now it'll be Albert coming up. This is what he did last night in the 9th inning.
You know, with a heavy, hard fastball from Kimbrel. Shatters his bat, but another walk-off hit, 17th of his career, 18th walk-off RBI and a sac fly in his career.
2 for 3 tonight with a couple of singles. 0 for 4 against Benoit. Really playing the pull on the left side of the infield. Middlebrook's guarding the line. A little hand grenade over to Solarte there. Fouled back off of Norris. Changeup that was up in the zone.
A lot of times when you throw a changeup up like that, you don't get the baseball back. That's going to be going a long way against you.
Oh, 1 count with 2 outs. Ibar standing at first. Benoit now 37 years of age. Got to the big leagues for the first time in 2001. 0-1. Another on-speed pitch. Oh, 2 count now. Houston's free will be pitching the 9th inning. Salas went 1 inning, struck out 2, walked 1.
Now you definitely think in terms of taking a shot right here. Worst case scenario, you give Albert a fresh at bat next inning.
Time was called the last second. Fourteen well-timed pitches for Joaquin Benoit here in the 8th. Off speed, out to left, hit well. Upton near the wall, on the warning track, underneath it. He'll make the catch. Albert just misses, putting the Angels on top, 2-0. We will head to the 9th, still scoreless.
But Pujols, but no go. And now it's time for In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia. 0-0 game because of the great start tonight. Matt Shoemaker, 7 scoreless innings, his 4 hits, 6 punch-outs. It's struggling. His previous 6, but very good as far as down in the strike zone. His split-finger fastball was fantastic tonight.
Well, he was fantastic. 7 innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and his wife Danielle on Twitter even chiming in about having a chance to sit at home and watch your husband pitch. She said on Twitter, watching your husband pitch is a natural laxative. It tends to happen. You know, that's a fantastic tweet.
That is.
At Danielle M. Shoe.
Yes. Mrs. Shoe. Ka-choo.
Houston Street pitching in his 19th game, 2-1 record at 2.55 ERA. Of course, a non-safe situation here, but a chance to pick up a W. He'll face Norris, Spangenberg, and Middlebrooks for the Padres here in the 9th. Fernando Salas went 1 inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, 1 intentional walk. A little while for Houston, Wednesday to be exact. Picked up his 14th save against the Blue Jays. Derek Norris 1 for 2. Broken bat flare out to shallow left. Matt Joyce was playing shallow, puts it away. 1 down. Well, Houston's from the Austin, Texas area, and with all the rains and floods going on in the state of Texas. Asked him today about his place and the surrounding area there. He said Austin really has not gotten as drenched as Houston, obviously.
Boy, sad scene down there.
No question. Very fortunate. He says if it rains more to the north, then they get the the old trickle down effect. But Houston just getting crushed the last couple of days with tons of rain. Spangenberg takes a strike. Padres second baseman 0 for 2. 2 punch outs and a sacrifice bunt in the 7th. Late on that one. Snowball is 2 strikes. Bullpen action for the Padres.
These guys were up about a couple innings ago.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Street was hanging out with many of the Padres during batting practice at the end of the Angels batting practice. Spent 3 years with the Pods. 80 saves for that.
He had a real good relationship with Bud Black, the manager for the Padres. He embraced the first day in. Anytime as a manager you have a closer that's been as successful as Houston Street, you're got a tendency to going to like them.
Yeah. Had 24 saves for the Padres last year before the Angels picked him up. 17 more for the Halos. Middlebrooks looks at a strike. 0 for 3 tonight. Fly ball to center his last time up. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, Calhoun, Freese, and Joyce due up for the Halos. Count evened up. A lot of goose eggs on that board. Five hits for both teams. Padres have stranded 7. Angels have stranded 6, and both teams have committed an error. That's in at the knees. 1-2.
Good fastball, location-wise for Street.
Now the 2-2. Line to short. One hopper to Eric Heibel. Stream with a 1-2-3 ninth. We hit at the bottom of the ninth. Calhoun, freeze choice coming up for the Angels. Trying to pick up another walk-off. For a walk-off for the second consecutive night. And they will be attempting to do that against a new pitcher. Joaquin Benoit pitched a scoreless 8th inning. And here tonight, Bud Black turns the ball over to Frank Garces, pitching in his 13th game. No record of .497 earned run average. 8 of his 12 outings this year, scoreless. And this is his second stint with the Padres. Made the opening day roster and is optioned out on April 25th.
Yeah, Garces fastball, 88 to 93. There's a curveball and changeup. A lot of curveballs. I'm sure Cole will see a lot of curveballs, but Cole has been very effective going, especially the other way, against a lefty pitcher.
Lefties against Garces this year, 6 for 17. That's a .353 batting average. So it could be just a one-batter situation with Thayer continuing to loosen the right-hander. With Freeze up next. See how Bud Black plays this one out. 3 infielders on the right side. And Cole takes that one over his head for ball 1. (1-0) in there for a strike.
Pretty good fastball, good location. Especially if you miss so far on the curveball on the first pitch.
One and 2. Garces 25 years of age, I should say. Native of the Dominican Republic. One of the 15 games last year with San Diego.
When you get that one shot where you try to hit it out, now you got to shorten up your swing, make contact.
Now the 1-2. Rolls over toward first, and Solarte has it. It's a foot race, and safe at first is the call. Chris Conroy, the first base umpire, with an emphatic call.
With the help of Alfredo Griffin.
Yep.
I'm sure they're going to check this one out for sure. Dave Roberts right away on the phone. And they're going to check it right away. They didn't waste any time on that one. At this point in the game, you have to. Yeah, it looks like the foot is down before Cole gets his foot on the base.
Yeah, they'll
that foot's on the
reverse
base.
this one.
Yep.
Good hustle by Cole as Solarte played that baseball, but call on the field is safe as an infield base hit, but should get overturned here. Unfortunately for the Angels.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Out is the call. And now here comes Bud Black. And they are going to go to third. That's what I thought. So Garce has one batter and he's done. So pitching change here in the ninth with one out, nobody on. And still a scoreless ball game. For the San Diego Padres, it's the right-hander now, Dale Thayer. Comes into the ball game to face David Freese. 20th game, no record, and a 3.10 earned run average.
He's got a good fastball. He's 89-94. Throws a lot of fastballs, slider, changeup.
Local product. Edison High School in Huntington Beach. Went to Santa Ana Junior College as well as Chico State University. Pitched in 70 games for the Padres last season. ERA just over 2.3. Facing David Freese. 0 for 3 tonight. Fastball misses upstairs.
First couple of bats hit the ball extremely hard.
Freese pulls one foul. Right size, wrong shape. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Was inside with a fastball. He was ready to look in, got his hands tucked in well. Barrel of the bat, but could not keep it fair.
Fouled straight back.
Another pretty good swing at a fastball. With 4 walk-off wins already here this season, looking for number 5 here.
Fouled back, another fastball. This one at 94. there. A good story in that he was signed as a non-drafted free agent by the Padres in 2002 out of Chico State. Put up great numbers at the minor league level and got traded to the Rays. Pitched briefly for the Mets and then back to San Diego in 2012. Lays off, and that was a pretty good pitch.
That was a nasty changeup.
Yeah. Probably should have been called a strike.
Lower part of the strike zone and get in that corner. Did not get the call, though.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Joyce on deck. Gotcha. Full count. Freeze reaches. You will more than likely see Featherston as a pinch runner. Maybe Calgill. 3-2. Pops it up behind the plate. Near the plate. Norris comes out. Middlebrooks calls him off, and he makes the catch. Long run for Middlebrooks, too, because he was playing back at third.
Norris is waiting to be called off. He was drifting pretty far himself. Catcher position.
Tough pitch to lay off of from Freeze, or by Freeze.
Especially when it was a borderline pitch in that sequence, that changeup that could have been called a strike. So you got to be up there hacking if it's around the zone.
So 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Matt Joyce. 0 for 2, hit by a pitcher, strike out, and a fly ball to left. No balls and a strike. Three infielders on the right side against Joyce. Takes that one outside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. One. Joyce skies one to shallow right. Matt Kemp comes in and calls off Spangenberg. And free baseball here at the Big A. We will head to the 10th with no score. Talk about the new pitcher for the Angels here in a second, but the starting pitchers tonight, kind of what we thought it would happen. With Matt Shoemaker would bounce back, and with Despaigne, kind of the unknown of the 2 guys, he came out and really threw the ball well.
Yeah, he threw a lot more fastballs than anticipated. Very similar numbers, even pitch totals, very similar. Both around the strike zone, change speeds when they need it, but Despaigne had a very good moving fastball tonight. The split finger fastball from Shoemaker, outstanding in his fastball command down in the strike zone, outstanding.
Joe Smith, who went 2 innings last night, scoreless innings, will pitch. 22nd game, 1-1 record at 2.18 ERA. And he'll be facing 8-9-1 here in the 10th inning for the Padres. Jerko, Amarista, and Solarte. Jerko, the DH tonight, 0 for 3. A ground ball to short, a fly ball to right, and a strikeout. Joe Smith last night, total of 24 pitches. See how Joe bounces back tonight. Back up the middle. It's a leadoff single.
We're definitely going to see a bunt now.
First time the Angels have been scoreless after 9 since July 31st of last year. Halos winning it in 13 innings.
Pinch runner here also.
Abraham Almonte, the pinch runner. And Amarista trying to bunt, bunts it foul. Amarista tonight 0 for 3. A couple of fly balls to center to strike out.
Almonte with 1 stolen base this year.
A bunt. And Iannetta will throw off balance to first, and they get Amarista. A sack bunt puts Almonte in a scoring position. Giavatelli covering on the play.
It's played by Chris Iannetta. That bunt checked up on the grass. They go pretty good distance. They throw to the first base.
Top of the order now, and Solarte, the first baseman, 0 for 4. 1 fly ball out, 3 ground outs. Joyce shallow in left field. Ibar trying to keep Almonte close to the bag. And Solarte takes outside. Houston Street, a scoreless 9th inning with a strikeout. Mike Scioscia flip-flopping it tonight. This one's fouled off to the left. In that, Street faced 4 through 9 last night. And let's get an opportunity to see Amarista one time and then face Solarte and Venable this inning, whom he did not face last night. One outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Another low-scoring, close game for the Halos this year. A ton of them already. A ton.
Welcome to 2015. That's just how it's been for the Angels for the first 2 months of the season. Outside, 3 balls and a strike with Venable on deck. First interleague game for the Angels, tied at 0. It has gone extras since June 8th, 2004 against Milwaukee. And there's a walk. So 2 on and a 1 out. That game, by the way, Went 17 innings. Angels pitchers had a total of 26 strikeouts.
Quality pitching. A lot of it.
Club record. Here's Venable. 2 for 4 tonight. And he will look at his strike. Almonte at second and Solarte at first. 2 singles for Venable. Also robbed Trout of a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. Straight away center field. Here's the 0-1. Reaching for this one, slices it out of play. Oh, no ball, 2 strike count. Once upon a time, there were 32,334 here in the house. Some have made their way home.
Still school for a lot of kids there.
Yeah.
Close to that last week or so.
Breaking ball. That's fouled back.
Yeah, Joe tried to get that a little bit further off the plate to start to catch the corner. More of the plate than he wanted to.
12 pitches now for Smith.
24 pitches thrown last night.
Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're not used to it, the bounce back could be taxing. 0-2 pitch, way outside. 1-2. I mentioned last night that the 2-inning stint for Joe, well over 500 games in his big league career. It was just the 15th time that he's gone at least 2 innings.
They really use that double play ball, and he's very good again. That Venable has rolled into 4.
And Pistano loosening. 1-2. Way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Not quite the same tonight for Joe.
Justin Upton on deck. Leadoff single by Jed Jerko. Abraham Almonte, the pinch runner, was sacrificed to second. And Solarte with a walk. 2-2. Breaking ball. This is outside. Full count.
They try to backdoor that slider just off the outside corner. In a normal circumstance, you think they may be going when you have Upton on deck. I don't think you can take that chance, especially with a lefty at the plate.
3-2. Fouled straight back. Hits combined tonight. Padres with 6, Halos with 5. 13 men stranded on base combined as well. 7 and 6 respectively. Matt Joyce very shallow in left field now. There's the 3-2. Check swing. They want an appeal. Did not go. They're loaded up for Upton. So back-to-back walks for Joe Smith. So Socia goes to the pen, but Pistano ready to go.
And he was able to check a swing on that one.
And instead, it's Mike Butcher coming out to pay a visit. Upton last night, batting in the cleanup spot, did face Joe Smith and hit a fly ball to right field in that 8th inning at bat. Up to 2 for 7 in his career. 1 RBI. Couple of strikeouts against Joe. No place to put him. First one. Dribbler foul up the third base side. Outfield playing straight up. Almonte at third, Solarte at second, Venable at first. The infield, of course, hoping and looking for that double play ball. 0-1, chopper foul. No balls, 2 strikes. I think you got to stay down and in on Upton.
Let's try to get him in the ground ball. More likely we hit it right at David Freese. So they may go slider though.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Upton, 2 down. Just enough off the plate.
Good sharp slider. Look at a pitch by pitch sequence here against Upton. Fastball inner half. Then down on the inner half once again with a fastball, pulled it foul, then a nasty slider off the outside corner. Gets a huge strikeout for Joe Smith and the Angels.
That defensive swing right there almost looked as if he was anticipating something back inside.
He was trying to fight a fastball off inside to see if he could hook it down the line. Instead, got a slider from Joe.
Still work here with Matt Kemp up 1 for 4 tonight with a single back in the 4th inning. Down and in. Kemp 1 for 3 in his career against Smith. Joe trying to keep this scoreless to head to the bottom of the 10th. Halos have the bottom third of their order coming up. That is ripped down the line. That's headed to the corner. It's a fair ball. At least 2 runs are in. Venable with terrific speed will come in to score. It is a bases clearing double. 3-0 San Diego.
10th double this season for Kemp. And this pitch on the inner half, he did a great job of getting his hands in and pulling that ball, the bat head out in front. It's all about getting the baseball inside and the hands inside and driving it right down the left field line for a double, 3-run double. 95 RBI.
Sorry, Gooby, but after the big strikeout of Upton, unable to retire, Matt Kemp, Vinny Pistano coming to the game, 3-0 San Diego. Lead here in the 10th inning. Mike Scioscia hands the ball off to Vinny Pistano. to try to get the third and final out. And it'll be Derek Norris coming up, the catcher, to face Vinny. Pitching the 16th game, 1-0 record of .435 ERA. Castano went 1/3 of an inning in Sunday's game against the Red Sox. Norris a 1-for-3 game. He singled in the 7th inning.
And it's going back to that one pitch to Matt Kemp. He is very good on the inner half, especially down. He'll get his hands inside the baseball and then hook that one down the line.
High fastball, cut on and miss. No balls, 2 strikes. And looking ahead to the bottom of the 10th, Idetta, Krause, and Giavitello are the scheduled 3 batters. Norris lofts one out toward right field, not very deep. It'll fall in for a hit. Kemp is coming home. The throw from Cole Calhoun not in time. It's 4-0 Padres. An inherited run comes in to score. Book closed now on Joe. Norris picks up his 28th RBI. Sosha out, takes the baseball. Cesar Ramos coming to the ball game. Another pitching change. 4-0 Pods. Takes over on the mound here with Corey Spangenberg coming up. Sosha playing matchup here. 18th game for Ramos, 2-0 record, a 2.31 ERA. Ramos pitched Sunday in Boston and threw a total of 4 pitches. Spangenberg be the 8th man to bat here, the 10th for San Diego. Padres second baseman is 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts and a sacrifice bunt. First pitch swinging, it's a foul ball. 0-1 count. Craig Kimbrell getting ready now. Used in a non-save situation last night. Used in a non-save situation tonight. And Kemp with the bases clearing double. Padres to lead. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Norris over at first base. 3-1 now.
Middlebrooks, a right-handed batter on deck. It's the guy you want to get. Ramos.
Full count now. Norris will be off the pitch. Out of the play behind Norris. Left-handed counter up. There's the 3-2. Chopper toward third. Freeze. Plays. That's a fair ball. Off balance throw. He's got no play. Norris just keeps on running to third base.
And Albert was in position to throw the ball to third base, but no one there because of the fact is Freeze had to field that off-balance throw.
4th hit of the inning for San Diego.
Playing well off the base and right down the line. It stays fair. Well, the crazy thing, that was actually on the other side of the foul line and then bounced back fair.
So runners at the corners now. Nothing Freeze can do in that situation. Maybe hope it goes foul. Spangenberg can run a little bit. Middlebrooks shoots one out to right center field. Hit well. Trout back near the wall will make the catch. The top of the 10th is in the books, but not before the San Diego scores 4. We head to the bottom of the 10th. Halos trail it 4-0. If you thought it was a tough night tonight for the Angels offense, just gets that much more difficult with Craig Kimbrell now on a relief for the Padres. he'll face the bottom third of the order. 19th game for Kimbrel, 0-1 record of .563 ERA. He's 11 of 12 in the save category.
He's been one of the most dominant closers in baseball, especially in that National League last 4 years. Fastball's 95 to 99, and a very good curveball also.
Chris Iannetta to lead things off. He's 0 for 3 tonight with a double play ball, a fly ball to right, and a strikeout. Thayer went 2/3 of an inning, all zeros for San Diego. He's the pitcher of record for the Pods. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the many moves that San Diego has made this offseason into the season, getting a closer like Kimbrel. Already deep bullpen for San Diego.
Here it is. Go get him. One ball, 2 strikes. Mark Krause on deck. And some slider. Evens up the count. Kimbrel, 26 years of age. Braves 3rd round pick in 2008. Out of Wallace State Community College in Alabama. Grew up in Huntsville. Two. This one out to right center field. Venable was shading Iannetta that way. One away.
That play by Venable early in the game on Mike Trout's would-be home run. An outstanding defensive play. He's had a solid game on the offensive side also. What a play, center field.
That was indeed a big play. Krause tonight 0 for 3. Struck out his last time up. The Angels, since the 6th inning, they've only had 1 base runner. That was a walk to Eric Ibar with 1 out in the 8th. One and 1. It's the only walk, as a matter of fact, the Padres issued tonight. Espana, the starter, went 6 innings with 5 hits allowed, 5 strikeouts. And come into the game with a 6.11 ERA. 2 balls, 1 strike. Shoemaker had a terrific bounce back start for the Angels. 7 innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs allowed. And Venables wasn't the only play that helped save the Padres. Go back to the 1st inning. Solarte at first. Robbing David Freese of extra bases, and a 2-0 deficit at that time for San Diego. But it was the 3rd out.
We hit that ball right on the barrel of the bat.
That's a strike. Full count. And while it seems trivial when you're going the way the Angels have gone on the offensive side of things, those things need to fall in. Those good things need to happen to try to scratch out a couple of runs. 3-2. Krause fouls it back.
Another start by a right-handed pitcher, and the Angels have continued to struggle against right-handed pitching this year.
(3-2), and that is a walk. So a man on with one out here in the bottom of the 10th. And Giavatelli coming up. And to your point, the Angels came in batting .229 as a team against right-handed pitching this year. And we're limited by Despaigne of just 5 hits. That's all the Angels have had this entire game. Giavatelli 1 for 3 game. Middlebrooks playing in over at third base. Giavatelli lifts one out to right. Kemp moving over. 2 down.
We'll track that down, play that no doubles defense.
So the Angels down to the last out tonight. And it's the leadoff man Eric Ibar coming up. A 1 for 3 game with a single and a walk. Ball night. First pitch 7:05. Garrett Richards. It's Andrew Cashner.
That's going to be a fun matchup.
Yep.
Well, just take away the record of Cashner. He's 1-7, but his ERA below 3. He can rush that fastball up at the upper 90s.
Krause takes off in difference as he reaches second base.
There's Cashner right there. Power fastball. Richards, an electric power fastball himself. A lot of fun to see those two guys go at it tomorrow night.
Here's the 0-2. Ibar lays off the breaking ball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trout on deck. 4 runs at the top of the 10th inning for San Diego as they batted around. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Kemp with the bases clearing double. And then Derek Norris with a base hit scoring Kemp. Now the 2-2, way upstairs. Krause will take third. And it's a full count.
It's your basic overthrown fastball from Kimbrel.
Thankfully, there were no mascots behind home plate. Three balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the 10th. Ibar goes down swinging on the Padres. Take game 2 by the final of 4-0.
Yeah, we came down to that great pitching, that bullpen, and then that big swing from Matt Kemp clearing the bases. right down the left field line as the Padres win this second game of the series. Now they're even up at 1 apiece. Rubber game tomorrow night with 2 power pitchers going at it.
Thayer picks up the win. Joe Smith takes the loss as the Padres shut out the Angels in extra innings. 4-0 the final. Stick around. Angels Live post game is coming up next.